Okay, there's one more things which we have, a virtual network interface, ENI we call it. So this is a very important. Please read this. So each instance is attached with default elastic network interface. If you go and see that, it is here, and you'll remember more. Here, if you see that, okay, I don't have any in this. I have to go to Mumbai. So if you see that any instance and go to the networking, see here, this is the VPC UC, and this is the private IP address, public IP address. No, this is a subnet which is attached, and somewhere you see. Can you see my screen on cursor where I'm hovering? Yeah, this is the ENI actually. Okay, elastic network interface. So this is what we are talking about here. So please understand this. So each instance is attached with a default elastic network interface. That's a default primary network, which is ETH0 and cannot be detached from the instance. Yes. So you can add a more ENI if you want it, but one is required, and that is done, has to be done by default. ENI has the following attributes. Using when you attach the ENI, we get attached to the ENI. It has the following attributes: primary private IP address, and one or more secondary private IP address, depends on the how many ENI we have. One more elastic IP address per private IP address. So here, one public IP address which can be auto assigned to the network for each zero when you launch an instance, but only when you create interface with each0 instead of using existing network interface. One or more security groups, AMAC address, and all stuff like that they are available for ENI. Our source and destination check flags is also. Now, internet gateway. So, internet gateway basically you have seen that again, and let me show you this. This is the internet gateway. From that, internet is coming to the private to public subnet or whatever it is. So, this is the internet gateway. Internet gateway you have to buy from them. It's a fully platform as a service. Okay. So an internet gateway is horizontally scaled, redundant, and highly available VPC component that allows communications between instances in your VPC and internet. It therefore imposes a no availability risk and bandwidth constraint on your network traffic. An internet gateway serves two purposes: to provide a target in your VPC route tables for internet routable traffic, and to perform network address translation NAT for instances that has been assigned public IP addresses. Okay, so to enable internet access through internet gateway, attaching internet gateway to VPC, that's our step number one. Second, subnet should have a route table associated with route pointing to the internet gateway. Third, instances should have the public and elastic IP address assigned. And fourth, security groups and NASs associated with the instance should be allowed relevant traffic. Now, security of VPC, we discuss about security groups, and you can enable the flow logs, ACLs you can define, and stuff like that. Subnet we discuss, NAT. So NAT, anyone remember what is the explanation I did it for the NAT? Anyone? All of you? Anyone remember? Hello, I'm audible. Yes. Okay. So here, where is the NAT? See here, this is the NAT gateway. So NAT basically is nothing but one instance running in the, see, there's a two words we have actually. You should not get confused. There's called NAT and there's called NAT gateway. So functions of NAT and NAT gateway is the same, but there are difference, little bit of difference. So see, a NAT and NAT gateway is doing the same thing. But you know what? Whenever you see NAT, NAT means you create one instance in public subnet and you manually configure that instance to route the network to private subnet. Who configure the machines? You configure the machines. But NAT gateway, what happens? NAT gateway, AWS configure that machines, and then that is routed to the private subnets. Did you understand the difference between NAT and NAT gateway? Primary difference? Functions are same. All of you? So here NAT is you configure, NAT gateway, which AWS configure. Now the question is, then we'll say, Rajesh, what is the difference between, I mean, why we have to configure manually if that can be gateway? See here, there's a problem. When you configure manually, and if you configure the instance manually NAT gateway, and you may have to select that limited type of CPU and RAM. Let's say if private subnet required more bandwidth, which that particular NAT cannot offer in terms of CPU and RAM for using the internet, then in that case you should go for NAT gateway. NAT gateway is elastic, automatically it will elast, depends on requirement. So whatever the internet you want, you will get it automatically. It will be in elast as per your need. So it depends on you whether you want to go for NAT or NAT gateway. You have to take up a call. So here, this is the NAT overview. So NAT, network address translation devices, launch in public subnet. I showed you. Enable instance in a private subnet to connect to the internet, but prevent the internet from initiating connection with the instance. So directly, instance will not get the internet from the directly, but using the NAT, you can get to the internet. It's like a indirect. Okay, instances in private subnet would need internet connection for performing software updates or trying to access external services. NAT devices prevent instances to be directly exposed to the internet and having to be launched in a public subnet and assignment to the elastic IP addresses to all. NAT devices perform the function of both address translations and port address translations also. So this is the NAT. Bastion host also you might have heard about it lot. So where do we use the Bastion host? Anyone have used the Bastion host? Sometimes you also call it a jump server. Anyone have used it? Yeah. So this also you can set it up with the VPC. So Bastion means a structure for fortifications to a project, things behind it. So in AWS, Bastion host, also referred to as a jump server, can be used to securely access instances in the private subnet. Okay. Bastion host launched in the public subnet would act as a primary access point from the internet and act as a proxy to other instances. So this is the one image, you see that, very simple one though. So here you have a public subnet and then private subnet. And the public subnet, you have a Bastion host. So people connect means you will connect to this public subnet machines, and from there you will connect to the private subnet. Okay, now VPC peering. So what is a VPC peering? So guys, what happens? There is a two network. Let's say we both are in a same machine, a same building, and you have one LAN and I'm also having one LAN. So we want to merge these two networks together. So it will be merged. So that means I can talk to you, you can talk to my machines, IP address network and all stuff like that. So that is called, in AWS, we call it a VPC peering. So when you connect the two VPCs, that process is called VPC peering. But there is a one limitation, major limitation is the CIDR range of the VPC should not be same. Now you have to tell me why. I said when you connect the two VPC, attach the two VPC with each other, that process is called VPC peering. That means one machine from the VPC 1 can talk to the VPC machine 2 in the VPC 2, and VPC 2 to VPC 1 also it is possible. But the question is CIDR should be unique for each VPC. You have to tell me why. Correct. Yes. True. So yes, it has to be CIDR because CIDR only define the IP address ranges. So if you have a same range of the VPC in the both the VPC, then the possibility of getting the IP address is higher. That means one instance, two instance may have same IP address in a different VPC. So that way it will be a conflict in a network. So that is not allowed. Yes. So let's understand that a VPC peering connection is networking connection between two VPC that enable you to route traffic between them using the private IP address, not public. Okay. Instance in either VPC can communicate with each other as if they are within the same network. VPC pairing connection can be established between your VPCs or with a VPC in another AWS account within a single region. Mind it, it's not account across the account also you can in the same region you can attach to. And AWS uses the existing infrastructure of a VPC to create a VPC peering connections. It is neither a gateway nor a VPN connection and does not rely on a separate piece of physical hardware. There is no single point of failures for communication or bandwidth bottleneck. So this is the peering. There are certain limitations we at a high level I just discussed and stuff like that. And now we'll get into the demo. So any questions so far? Any questions so far? No. Okay. So guys, I'll show you that how to create a VPC two ways. Okay. First one is easy way, which is we call it a widgets, and second one we call it a little advanced way, manually. Okay. So manually, if you do that, then you will have a great understanding about the networking. But widgets will help you to do the same thing, but in a fastest way. Customizations will not be possible if you do through the widget. You have to learn this each and everything through manual. It's a best strategy. Okay, as part of your scope, actually, you don't need to learn manually. At a high level, you need to know VPC, subnet, route table, internet gateway, NAT gateway. And all. So see here, this is a VPC, this is a subnet, this is a route table, this is an internet gateway, this is the NAT gateway. If you have a peering, you can do that. If you want to write a ECS for it, these are security groups. Security groups which you see 20, it's same with a EC2, okay, from the same. And many things are there. Here elastic IPs and here VPC, VPG, and VPN should be somewhere. Where is that? VPN, you see that here. Side to side VPN connections, here you have. And right now running instance. So these are the components we have. Left side, if you see that, a lot of things you have. So entire networking world you can find at this place only. Okay. So now you have to decide whether you want to go for widget or manually. So I'll show you the widget first and manually if you want it. So here launching a VPC widget, look at my screen very carefully. Now here, please read this because you are doing first time probably. So we have introducing the new creative experience. So this is the new what do you say UI. So older UI, if you want to go, probably you will have some options to transfer, but not a problem. We'll follow this one. Now here, what you want only VPC, then you can go for VPC. If you want the VPC plus subnet, then select the VPC subnet. Now here they will ask you, okay, how many subnets you want? So you want the subnets to be generated automatically. Then here all these setups are there. Look at it here. As per right now current setups, I see that very carefully. You see how many subnets are being created. How many? So total 4 subnets are being created. Correct now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the question is, why we have a 4 subnet? Anyone have idea? Why we have a 4 subnet? Anyone? It's a basic design, by the way. Anyone? Menu? Are you able to hear me, guys? Right? Yeah. So think and tell me. Let me draw pictures. Okay. This is your VPC, and here this VPC you have across the edges. Okay, mind it. So here you have a subnet 1. Oh, sorry. So here you have a subnet 1, and here you have subnet 1 and subnet 1. So now what do you want? This is a private subnet or public? Let's say public subnet. And here private subnet. Okay. So now let's say traffic is coming like this. Private subnet, public subnet, and then from here private subnet. Mind it, each subnet I said very carefully, you have in edges 1. Edges 1, availability zone 1, edges 2. Tell me what is the design problem here? Your voice is not clear. I think you are saying something, but I cannot hear you. Hello? Right. Let's say this availability zone, if you have a problem, maybe some tsunami and something has come, maybe something like that, then you are accessing only front end. Back end is lost. Correct now? So what should you should do? What you should do? You have a 2 subnets actually. So here, one more subnets you should create here. So this is a public subnet, but here this is a private subnet. So here you should have a private here, and then here you should have a public. Okay, and then you should run your instances here, 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 here. So that way it's highly available. Got it? Understood now? Hello? Yeah. So that's the reason you see that this is the one availability zone, 2 subnet, public and private. There's a availability zone. Now, if you look at this, the traffic, this is a wonderful image they have created. I think by mistake I closed actually all this window. Sorry about it. Go to the VPC. Launch widget. And here, if you see that little carefully, if I see that how this being route, so there's one route table they are creating, one route table. And that route table, if you look at this very carefully, they have exposed to the gateway project IGW. Are you able to see that? That means internet to the public subnet they are getting from the that route table, public route table, and from the internet gateway. If I see the public here also, same thing. Okay, now if I see the private subnet is, you see that they are getting the route, they have a route table, which is for one availability zone, you need to have a route table for each availability zone. So here you have a route table, and the route table is getting the internet from the project VPC S3, which is, it can be a NAT gateway. Here also, if you see that, this is the same thing. Okay, so that is a NAT gateway, project VPC. So now let's see that and look at this here, auto generated. So this is the CIDR range for VPC. Okay, now here you decided, okay, I want to make it, I want to design this highly available infrastructure. So you decided you want this to be deployed in 1 edges, 2 edges, 3 edges, something like that. Now, how many public subnet you want? 2. How many private subnet you want? 2. You can make it 4 also, it's up to you. And here, if you want to customize the CIDR of the subnet, mind it, subnet, then you can do that. So they have, as per the best practices and recommendations, they have given it to you, this CIDR range. If you look at this very carefully, the CIDR range of this is VPC is 10 dot blah blah blah, and subnet range is within that range, if you see that. And here you are saying, hey, NAT gateway, do you want? None. So here is selected none. But by the way, if you see that, NAT gateway is paid. Remember that here I said, remember, NAT is the one which you create, which is from the EC2 instance, which is again paid. And NAT gateway, which they create for you and running in the public subnet, that you are not creating, but they are creating, and the regions are paid. So you can create a NAT gateway, is chargeable, and which NAT gateway you want to create. So in 1 edges or 1 per edge, that means you want to create a NAT gateway in every edges. So you can decide here. Right now it's none. I can select 1 per edges or something. It's a good practice, but right now no. And some of the enabled DNS and stuff. Yes, routing table. So what will happen? This will be little slower, but it's like this. You create here the, oh, sorry. You create a NAT gateway here in only one subnet, correct? Public subnet. Now, these guys will get the internet design. You look at this design, it's up to you. This guy will get the internet very fast, but this guy will have a little problem, little slowness, maybe lesser than millisecond and all. Will be having little slower than compared to this subnet. So they can get it routing. It's all routing table. So this guy will get an internet from this guy will get an internet from this, because it's on same edges. You will have a little fast. I mean, that you won't maybe feel difference, but if you look at the traces and all, you will see the differences. See, the public subnet and private subnet is a conceptual thing. Understand this. Public subnet, we don't create it. For private subnet, we don't create it. We create a subnet, simple. Now, if subnet you attach to the internet gateway, route to the internet gateway, any machines which you run in that subnet has internet. If you do not attach to the route to the internet gateway, that you do not. That then you have to use the gateway. Actually, that's a more costlier option. BPG, yeah, BPG, and you can also try with a VPN. But why do you want the VPN for that, to internet access? Usually we try a VPN only for the accessing the resources, not for getting an internet. Yeah, gateway we have to set it up, private network gateway, and that will help you. But that will be very costly affairs. This is out of design actually. I believe that's out of design. and customizations, lots of customization. So see here, that is one of the simple way internet gateway you attach to the subnet, then become a public subnet. Okay, that BPG is not recommended. Unnecessarily, we are discussing that because you can do it theoretically, but that is not designed for that one. BPG has a different purpose altogether. Make sense? Okay, so all this thing is select and get going, and after that, create VPC. Now, these all resources, if you do manually, these all resources you have to do that. See here, created a VPC, enable the DNS hostname and resolutions, some S3 endpoint they created, subnets, you see that 4 subnet created, here gateway got created, attach the gateway to the VPC, create a route table, okay, create route table. So here 2 route table you got created, here 1 route table got created, then association of the route table happen, again route table, association, again route table, association, verifying the route table creation, and then associating S3 endpoint route table, logs for it. So, and this for logs, okay, and view VPC. Now this we created with this is the widget. Manually also you can go for it. So now let me show you this dashboard. So now here I have a 2 VPC. One is a default, one is just now I created. If you see the subnets, earlier I don't remember that how many subnets we had. I think 3 subnets I had it because of each availability zone 1 subnet. But right now I got 4. Route tables, I think 3 I got it here. One is default is set earlier. Gateway I got it 2 because one is a default, and now we got it. And NAT I did not create it. Elastic IP address and all I did not create it. This is a different IP address. NAT gateway I did not select it, but here you get it. ACLs you can define here. Security groups here you have, and route tables and so on. Firewalls, network firewalls you can hear. VPNs you can set it up. These are the VPNs we have. Customer gateway, private, virtual private gateway, site to site VPN connections, client. These are the ways you can get the internet, but very slow and very costly affairs. But usually we use VPN for connections. That's all, secure connections, routing, secure routing, nothing else. So these are the options with the VPN, and many options we have. So overall, I got it, this VPC, and now I'm going to use it. So where to go? So I should go to EC2 here, which you know by now. Now guys, look at my screen very carefully. Launching instance. Now go for Ubuntu or whatever it is. I got a habit of Ubuntu actually. And here. Now let's discuss these options. Okay. Now are you seeing this network? So right now I have a 2 network. One is I created just now and one is a default. And here subnet. Now which subnet you want? So you want to keep this machine in which subnet? You want to keep it in this one. Just read the name. Private subnet, here you have, and public subnet, here you have. Where you want to? Depends. You want the internet? Public subnet. You don't want internet? Private subnet. Okay. Now here you want the assignment of IP address, so enabled. And host name type, DNS name. So all these options, whatever you understood now, all of you. Hello? I'm audible, guys? Yeah. So earlier we were selecting default. Now you can select this. Okay. So now I will give you some labs. And before that, I have to do something which anyone have idea what I need to do to get you the access for it? I need to go to IAM. and I need to go to user groups, training, and here permissions. And so far I've given you this permissions, right? I'm going to add permissions here, and the name is VPC, okay? And enter. VPC all I'm giving it to you, which is here, and add permissions. So now I give you the permissions also and showed you the demo also. And now I would ask you to do that. And if you want the NAT gateway, go ahead with the NAT gateway also, though it will take at least 5 to 7 minutes to configure it, so that waiting time will be more. So go ahead and see that. And first also request you all to read that all the options. Okay, VPC, subnet, route table, internet gateway, NAT gateway, and all stuff like that. Okay. Any questions, guys?
Hello everyone, if you would like to access the remaining videos of this playlist of 50 plus more tools which are coming under DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE, DataOps, GitOps, etc. Kindly become our channel members by clicking on the joining button. You would have access to 100s of playlists and 1000s of videos lifetime access with this membership. Enjoy.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.